Hi everyone, we're here to tell you about our Patreon.
Your support enables our podcast to grow bigger and better. If you love this podcast, check out our VIP area over on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, that's 70p a week, you gain access to our Patreon exclusive episodes every single week.
These episodes include our monthly talent show, which is live on stage, featuring some of the best comedians in the country. Look at this.
I used to be like a Meatloaf impersonator.
Sing us some Meatloaf right now.
There's evil in the air, there's thunder in the sky, and a killer on a bloodshot streets. Hold down the tunnel where the deadly horizon. Oh, I swear, a young boy down to God.
Plus, you can get up close and personal with us on the Shed episodes, where we are definitely not under the influence of illegal substances.
I'm trying to hold this babe back. Can't hold it back much longer. Oh, not into the
There's an ever-growing archive of Patreon-exclusive episodes ready for you to dive into right now this second.
Episodes like the 420 special, where Amy wrote me a comedy set for me to do in front of a live audience who had no idea what I was doing. It was horrific.
It was bad.
Have a look.
I've made a list of the really bad things I've done in my life, and I'm going to make up for them now. I have wanked over my nan. She had really amazing tits.
There's loads of other bonuses like 48 hours early access to our public episodes, pre-sale on tickets and merch.
£5 tiers get you discounts on the live show tickets. You get a free print that was designed by me and Amy. Sick. People put it up in their houses and that. Class.
£10 patrons get free tickets to our live shows. They get a signed print, discount on merch, and an exclusive members only club card.
Ooh, these club cards are reserved for podcast guests and the £10 tier top dons. Check out the details over at patreon.com/the Mild High Club. Join the club, will ya? Get involved.
We absolutely love you guys, and without your support we wouldn't be where we are, so thank you.
We love yous.
On with the show.
You're the best.
Is right. Hello everyone.
Hello.
We're back.
What
Episode
is
63.
63.
We're joined today by Mike Hough, Spirit. What did you say?
Spirit Medium.
Spirit Medium.
Medium.
So Mike is a medium. We've got him
lots
on.
of questions, Mike.
Can't wait.
Lots and lots.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Should we go straight into it?
We're intrigued.
Do you wanna-
Well, we should preface it that when Amy contacted
Yes.
Mike, there was no... he didn't
I
know who we are.
didn't
Yeah.
tell you who he was.
No.
I signed my text messages very cryptically as A.
What did you
it.
get from that? What did you think about that?
I'm used to it, to be fair, because loads of people, when they book in for a reading, they won't give anything, which I prefer that. 'Cause
Yeah,
it gives
yeah.
me like
Yeah.
a fresh slate to read
Yeah,
from them
right.
instead of, it's hard if you know stuff about people because then you can't really, you've got to dodge that then, whereas I don't. not
Sort of
everybody, I don't know
influenced
you,
by
so
it,
it's
yeah,
great.
or something already, yeah. Okay, we were just thinking
I
like,
like
I
a
wonder
challenge.
what.
Yeah, good.
We were just like, I wonder what he's thinking. Just like, meet us here.
Yeah.
Undisclosed
I was
location.
going to get like murdered or something.
Exactly. What if he was like gonna harvest your
No, I didn't get a bad feeling,
organs?
so because of the weird way that my mind works, it's like, yeah, this is going to be good, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Didn't
good then.
mind.
Yeah, you
That's
heard
good
it here
intuition.
first.
That's
Yeah.
nice. You had
Yeah.
a good omen.
Yeah.
Good.
Lovely.
That's always nice to hear,
Good
isn't
vibes.
it? So,
So
you've got
I have.
questions?
They're all
The-
on
They're
the.
all here. It's. I think the best place to start is when you first started getting into it.
So, this is quite long-winded, so I'll kind of try and narrow it down. So when I was around,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes great. Yeah.
so when I was around 6 or 7, from my earliest memory was seeing someone at the top of the stairs at the family home. So we'd just come back from this place called Wacky Warehouse in Warrington, and I was being a little shit, and I was spitting a paper thing at my sister, and
Yeah.
but I swallowed it, so I felt sick. I was like, I need to go to the toilet, I feel sick. So my mum and sister ran into the living room, let me go in, like first up to the stairs kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I just stopped because I seen somebody stood at the top of the stairs. And
Okay, so what was that like? Just a
petrifying.
no, but what was it? Just a black figure?
No,
or
it was like how we can see
full-
each other. That's
full
how I actually
human?
seen.
Right.
Looking.
Yeah.
So who's this person?
Yeah, it's like-
basically.
Hmm.
So it was quite frightening, but and then my mum went upstairs. She checked every room. There was no one, nothing there.
Okay.
So it kind of, from my earliest memory, it started from there. But apparently, it's a bit of a weirdo before then, because my mum said that.
Bit of
I
a
always used to,
weirdo.
like talk to the wall and stuff, and
Yeah.
like wave at things. That
My mum said a lot of that.
You say that about
I would-
kids?
Yeah.
Because they're
kids are very open
very
to it. Yeah.
yeah.
They don't have any beliefs.
Yeah.
They've not grown up yet, and everyone's like, they have a belief in this or they don't believe in that type thing. So
And no one's told them you're stupid for believing that yet. Yeah, I get it.
My mum's got a very positive outlook. She's really enjoyed her experiences with mediums, and when she's had readings and stuff like that, she swears by it.
Yeah.
I've had a good one. Yeah.
You also had one in a Toby Carvery though as well, didn't you?
That
up and down
was not as good. But it was in a Toby Carvery, so I was
like a table setting type thing.
Yeah. Well, people was literally like having roasties and then tarot and
A bit of beef.
But yeah, I've been to another museum that was, I was like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, we should carry on. I was going to say, because that is one of the main questions that we've got is how to spot maybe people that aren't too genuine with it.
Yeah. So I always say to people that even if they don't feel right having a reading with me, like go off what you feel. Like when you meet someone, if you think not really getting the best vibe, that's probably because they're not the one for you. But unfortunately, the reason why I feel a lot of people don't believe in this is because there is a lot of people. Are you allowed to swear on this? There's a lot of people that are full of shit. There's a lot of them. Like I went to one years ago at this spiritualist church. I didn't do readings myself then, but this man stood up and he went, "Can anyone understand the lady with the pink slippers on?" I was like, "Fuck me!" Literally, everyone was like,
everyone put their hands up, right?
So it's things like that are like basic and just shit.
Like cold reading in it, type of thing, and then people, it's quite easy to sort of manipulate off the back of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like saying like, "Oh, you've not been sleeping properly," or you need to take a bit of time out. Don't everyone like?
Yeah. So what was your journey from the person at the top of the stairs?
So what happened then? So I was in primary school then, and then it stayed with me whilst I was in primary school age. But then when I got into high school, it kind of stopped. I think that's because it's like, I can't be doing this weird shit. But I didn't really know what it was then, to be fair. I was just scared. I thought.
Did you sort of suppress it yourself then?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, okay.
Mainly from fear though, because some people are like, "Oh, it's really cool." It wasn't. It was petrifying. Like I was really, really scared. Because I didn't know what was seeing. My dad was like, "Oh, give over your mad ass," stereotypical, like, stop being a fanny. And then my mum was just like, "Oh." So I was like, "Oh, what is it?" She's like, "Oh, it's just your imagination. It's just your imagination." Then I remember coming home from school one day. My sister was watching a famous medium on the TV, and I just sat on the edge of the sofa and was like, "No way, that's what it is." I was like, "Fuck me." I was like, "That is weird." Then that's kind of the penny drop for me then. And then what went on from there then was, I think I was 17 or 18. I went to like a development group type thing to go and develop more basically. And I was there
hone your skills type of thing.
To learn different techniques and whatnot, but I wasn't really
there. So how often were you seeing things, people, whatever, what would you call them? Spirits?
Yeah, spirits. Yeah, I don't know why I don't really like to use the term ghost. I don't know why, because I just feel like it's a bit ooh.
That makes it. As soon as you say ghost, I think that puts it in people's heads like
Scooby Doo.
It's not Scooby Doo. I fucking wish it was Scooby Doo. Much easier. But no, so it's weird because the thing is, so when I used to see them when I was younger, it's like how we see each other. But imagine seeing me now, but then blink and then opening your eyes and then I've gone.
Not being there, right? Okay.
That's kind of what it's like. But whereas now that I've been able to tune into my abilities a bit more, or a lot more, I don't really see them so much now. It's weird. So I'll see like shadows and stuff, but I feel and hear them more. So I'm already feeling a few different things now. So I was like, "Oh, we're going to do a reading soon. I'm excited." So what's going on there? So
if anything comes, let it out.
I will do.
Do you have to put yourself in a certain mind space?
Oh, definitely.
Really,
yeah. So if I've got like a lot going on at home, or if I've got my own shit in life going on, it's more difficult to try and focus and to tune into it then, because it all works for your mind. So it's hard to get to that place where you need to be. So I always say how it works. So how you connect with spirit is, this is just like a little diagram that I use. So I've got to raise my energy. People call it vibration, whatnot. So I use the word vibration. I raise my vibration. They've got to kind of meet me in the middle, like bring theirs down a little bit so that we can communicate. So if my vibration's like really crap, or if I'm depressed or not feeling it, I'm not going to be able to get it high enough to communicate nice and clearly. So
we're pretty high vibe here, aren't we?
I've got that vibe.
So like, what do you do to get? Do you do like meditation and stuff like that to sort of be able to get to that sort of mindset quite easily?
Yeah. So what I've got to do is basically, I do it most days. It doesn't take long. Sometimes I'll just kind of sit there in quiet and kind of focus. And I see it as like a kind of like a doctor's waiting room. So in my mind, I'll go into that waiting room, especially when I'm about to do a reading for someone. I'll go into like the waiting room and in my mind and see it that way. But yeah, it's quite cool. But then when it comes to not wanting to connect with spirit, I've also learned along the way is to kind of go into like a meditative state again.
Yeah.
And envision it like a shop. So like turn the lights off, turn the sign to closed, and then shutters, all of that stuff. So then they know they're not to come through. Doesn't always work though, to be fair. Sometimes you get the pushy one that's like, Mike. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, like when it's like 2 minutes before you close and someone comes in, like, you still open? You're like, fuck's sake, yeah.
Is the bad spirits?
I believe that there will be 1,000%. I don't go on like ghost hunts and stuff. It's not my vibe. The way that I use these abilities is more to help people.
Yeah.
I know that sounds proper wishy-washy, but it really is. It's to
what
help
it's
them,
for,
people that are
innit?
grieving and stuff.
So like, have you ever, well, I imagine you have, but do you go into places and you go, oh, it's scary vibes in here?
Yeah, well,
like,
we went away a couple of years back, well, it was before COVID. I think it was a year before COVID. We went away for our wedding anniversary, me and my wife, and the place where we stayed, I'd done an event there previously. It's like this really nice place in Wirral, and the manager there took us for a walk around it, and whilst we was in one of the rooms, no joke, like this old, really creaky, like wooden wardrobe was kind of like open.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I was like, told you.
Yeah, fuck this.
And they're all like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just John from downstairs. Relax.
So, do you know, like, you say you got a wife now.
Yeah.
When you met her, how does that go when you go, oh, I speak to spirits? Like,
so at the time, I didn't make it a thing so much when I first met her.
Yeah.
But when, do you know, like when you get deep, when you're in a relationship and you start talking and stuff. So that's when I was like, I think I'm a bit weird, me, you know. She's like, well, why? I said, well, I'm pretty sure that I can, like, see dead people.
So were you seeing
you said that and not like, oh, kids.
Were you seeing her like before you started doing it as a profession?
Yeah.
Right,
so she's basically been like a massive support in it. Helping me to get to where I am. That sounds really sickly, that, doesn't it? But it's really true. Like she's helped me massively with that. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's good.
Supportive,
yeah.
Good support system.
So is it draining?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So this morning I've done 3 readings up until the afternoon. It depends, and it sounds awful, but sometimes it's the people that you read for too. Like if they've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Even though I'm more of a medium than a psychic, so I can talk about the difference between that shortly. But as a medium, like I still feel things from the person that I'm reading for. So it can be quite, it sounds awful, but if they're a draining character, people that maybe drone on a bit sometimes.
You take that takes the energy from you.
It's not really so much spirit that drain me, it's the people that I'm reading for. But not all the time. But sometimes spirit can be draining too. It all depends on like how they passed, who they are, what's happened with them in life and stuff. If they've had a hard life, I kind of feel bits of it.
Right.
This is why I'm going grey.
Yeah.
I'm there with you.
I'm going grey, then you don't worry about it.
So like you say you've done your readings this morning.
Yeah.
Like does something come through every time?
Yeah. So I always say everyone, no matter who we are, we've all got someone that's passed away.
Some sort of ancestors somewhere, absolutely. Even if you don't know them, they're still related to you. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, so every reading that I've done, there's always been someone that's come through.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like where it's very rare, but sometimes, let's say if they've got like that A-lister celebrity that they want to hear from, like their loved ones.
Yeah.
It's like, I really want to hear from my mum, but then the nan comes through and she overtakes it, and I'm like, I don't have a control over who comes through, how they do it and whatnot. So it's just, I basically just tune in and listen to what's coming through.
Oh, that's weird.
Is there like cons to having these abilities? Is it like sometimes you're having a shit and you're like, oh, leave me alone, you know what I mean?
It's 10 minutes. Say that, like literally, was it last week? Last week it was. I was at, I did an event in Wirral, and on the interval on the break part, I went to the toilet and someone's mum was like in my mind, like, go and talk to my son. I was like, I'm having a piss. Better privacy would be great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's mad.
I know it's 2022 ghosts, but come on.
Yeah, me too, play ghost.
I know.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who are quite? Do you ever get people who are very, what's the word? Dismissive or
skeptical,
patronising?
All the time.
All the time, definitely. I've had people like trolls and stuff online where they've gone out of the way to message me page and say things like, you should kill yourself, and like literally I've had like proper low, and I've been like, what the fuck? It's not like I'm outside of an old people's home selling smack to I'm just trying to give a little something back. That is it. So
that you can see why some people, not like telling you to kill yourself and that's a bit much in it, but you know, when people do see so much of it, of like, oh, this guy's a con man, this guy's just conning people who are suffering
out there as well, so they believe there is nothing else, and they're allowed to believe that.
Nihilists.
Yeah, there is a lot, and there are a lot of them make themselves known. Like on social media and stuff, that's the worst place for it. But and then if I'm out somewhere, do you know when people say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Sometimes I'm like, I'm an accountant.
Well,
it's the hassle.
Yeah.
Loads of comedians do that.
Yeah.
If they get a taxi somewhere, they just go, "Oh yeah, I do."
Don't you like?
Tell us
Can
a
you tell
joke.
us? Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, well, we went to the Isle of Man the other week, and we got in a taxi, and he was like, "Oh, what you doing over here?" And Carl just went, "Oh, he's got a boxing match." And I was just like, "Yeah, I'll punch your head in, shut up." Like, no one asks anything, and then they're like, "Oh fuck yeah."
I never thought about it that way though, because the worst we have is, tell us a joke, but you have. How's me nan?
Yeah.
Mate, it's not that.
No, I have loads where it's like, oh, I'd only believe it if you said something that happened on the day of.
Yeah,
get it all.
People trying to test
it don't bother
you.
me anymore. Though it used to kind of weigh me down a bit, like in the beginning of starting this career, if you want to call it a career. But now it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I think it's with like because we're pretty spiritual, aren't we? And I can see why people aren't.
Yeah,
because I used to be like that, and it's like if you want to understand it yourself, you have to be like, I'm going on this spiritual journey.
Yeah,
you can't explain it to anyone else otherwise.
You can't
have
force
to
it on people.
Yeah,
It's kind of everyone's on their own path.
The worst thing about like spirituality and that though is the representation of it. It's never like it maybe a bit more now. You get like people who just look a bit like, oh, that guy looks a bit like me. But it's usually like people in a forest who like look like they haven't had a wash for ages, going, oh, and you're like, oh, stop it, mate! You're probably putting me off here.
I'll see these guys there.
Yeah. That's one of the worst things with it. Like,
live in a commune. What are you on about?
Cult. Or like cult.
Yeah, give us another few years. We'll have our own island.
Mike, do you think that everyone is born with these abilities, or is there some people who just are not, whether it's nature or nurture? Well, I suppose it'd be nature, wouldn't it? But are some people just not meant for it?
Is it like some people have got 20/20 vision, some people need glasses?
Some people, basically. Yeah. I do believe that we've all got it there. So it's kind of how I only mentioned this today to a client. So how I explain it is, if you used to go to the gym and constantly train, let's say your biceps, so you're always training, they're going to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like the more that you use that part of your brain, the stronger it's going to get.
Yeah,
bigger
right.
and stronger it's going to get. So I do feel like everyone's got it there, but some people are very shut off. Whether that's just because they're not into it, they could just be arseholes, they could be just scared, absolutely, or it could just be like they've gone through a lot in their life that's not ready for it yet, type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also thought of a question. Have you ever been told something by a spirit that you didn't want to tell the person you were giving the reading to?
Yeah.
Any? I mean, you don't have to be really.
Oh yeah, I won't name anyone, right? Yeah, I won't say it. But there was one that I always remember. It's weird because I don't always remember them, but I remember it because this person's dad was coming through and telling me to check the partner's glove box in the car for a love note.
Right.
I was like, what? But then as I was saying, it's like, oh my God, he's being serious. I thought he was joking. And it turned out that her partner was having an affair.
Jesus.
Oh shit.
I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Don't
Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger.
No judgment. Safe, yeah.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah, there's been few. It's never. People ask me this a lot. Like, do I know when people are going to die? I don't. So don't panic. Don't be thinking, shit, does he know that? Are my days numbered? No, you're all right. You're safe. There was one time that it happened for me. That it was years ago. It's at like a little group reading, and there was a man there, and his wife was coming through, and she was, I mean, like blunt. She was really, really savage, and I said to him, I was like stuck, and I was like, how the fuck do I say that? She was like, your wife's just saying she's not ready for you yet, so you need to stop drinking so much. And he was like, and he didn't even speak at this point, and then he was like, well, I was like, fucking, I'll see what she means. And then he was like off his head, but then I found out by his brother-in-law the week after that he died, so I was like, oh. So I try to word things differently sometimes if it's quite heavy, because I don't like scare people with it and be like, oh, watch out for the bus.
So, like, where the spirits are, do you know where it comes from? Do you know where they are?
Yeah, so where they are, some people look at it as like heaven, hell, spirit world, afterlife. I just call it the other side, or heaven sometimes, depending on if I'm feeling fruity or not. If I'm in a good mood, oh, your loved ones are in heaven.
Put a bit of flavour on it,
yeah. So how I explain it, as a prime example, imagine like on the other side of that curtain there, that's just where they are.
Is there? Is there somewhere right now?
It's like a very, very fine veil in between this life and that life, so they can see us through that whenever they want, or whenever they feel that we need them there. But then when they want to show us like signs or come through in a dream or come through in a reading, that's imagine it's going on like a tie back. That's how I explain it, so then they can come through it then.
That's a nice way of explaining it.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
When then you think of stuff where you go, oh, that has happened, so that makes sense that it's easy to come through or whatever. Yeah.
So do you have a particular spirit guide then?
Yeah, so it's actually quite funny. So do you know before when I was telling you about the guy that I seen at the top of the stairs?
Yeah.
Turns out that was my spirit
Is
guide.
it?
Yeah. I didn't figure that out till, God, years after.
Yeah.
And it was actually quite funny. Have you ever watched Shameless? I'm sure you would have watched Shameless.
Yeah, I know Shameless.
Do you know Frank Gallagher? That's what my fucking spirit guide looks like. I was like, everyone that I've spoke to, everyone's spirit guide's like these cool like Indians and got like the feathers and stuff, and I got fucking Frank Gallagher. I was like, is this a joke? And he's Scottish as well. I know Frank Gallagher's not Scottish, but he's just Scottish. Yeah.
Well,
that's
because you're from Warrington, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? Is this a guide?
Do you have any theories about? I know you probably won't, but people who get assigned spirit guides, is there someone going, right, you've got Dave in Chester, and you're like, oh, I've got fucking Dave.
like why is he yours?
I actually don't know. I don't know why.
No, I just thought it was an interesting, like, there's like a little office upstairs somewhere. You know?
You've got it. I don't want him.
I want to change me. I want to change me.
Change it to Amanda from room 3.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately it's not like. I think everyone definitely has one. I don't really connect with other people's spirit guides, but I'm sure that they would help by bringing through loved ones and stuff at the timing's right. But there is people that do read for people that tell you who your spirit guides are.
Yeah.
So I'm just not one of them.
Because everyone else would think, oh, it's got to be me mum, it's got to be me nan.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it could just be some fella from
Scottish
Glasgow.
John, No way.
Some Glasgow Jesus.
That's amazing. I definitely. So how would you advise people to start developing their abilities?
So trust is a massive thing. So one thing that I can definitely give as positive advice with that is that when I first began and I was picking up on things, I was just like, oh, it's my mind that's putting it there. I was like really questioning it, thinking I was going crazy. But then I'd say it afterwards, I'm like, well, no, you should have said that because that's me uncle's da-da-da-da. Things like that. So trust is a big thing, but meditation is like key.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend. And even if it's not to connect with spirit as a medium, if it's just like as a psychic or Reiki that you want to become like a Reiki master and stuff. I don't know how to do that, but I do have it done on myself.
Yeah.
It's meditating because you're able to clear your own mind out then, which makes it more easier. I suppose it's like moving house. So if you want to move someone else's stuff in your living room, you've got to move all your stuff out first.
Right.
For them to come in. So it's kind of like that.
Making the space for them to come through.
What is Reiki? Sorry.
So Reiki, it's like a spiritual healing thing. I don't know the full ins and outs of it.
Oh, right,
I don't do it myself, but I do have it done. So it's kind of like where they'll put crystals over your chakras and stuff like that and like channel Reiki healing energy.
I've had it done, and so the woman put her hands around my head and my head just got so hot.
Really?
Like, she didn't touch me, but you can
They don't
feel.
touch. It's like a spiritual massage for your soul.
It's it's bananas.
Wait.
Yeah.
Bananas. It's cool.
Sounds cool.
There's a question I was going to ask and I forgot now.
I'll give you this one first. Yeah, how do you feel about psychedelic drugs that seem to connect people? Is that what it was?
Whoa. That was it.
Yeah.
Hey,
There we go.
I was a psychic.
It was just next in the list. Yeah. Have you ever tried it? Would you ever try it?
No.
Do you recommend it?
Drugs.
No, I mean,
right, what do you mean?
psychedelics maybe. You know that, or do you think that you're just tripping?
Because they've started using it to treat like PTSD and things like that.
Right, I see.
So
I don't know, I've never really looked into that, to be fair.
Do people talk about having experiences when they trip on, especially heavy psychedelics like LSD or DMT?
Well, you weren't here when we spoke about doing acid, and I spoke to mine dead nan.
Like the other day.
We both. So we was meditating together, and I saw like an egghead. And then he saw a bald person, and it was his nan. So it was like we shared the same experience.
Mad.
That's mad, isn't
You're very
was weird.
close.
I didn't understand. I was like, egg?
Who the fuck's this egg?
Egg?
Yeah. It was that. So that was weird.
Like,
And that was just from doing acid. So don't know.
Yeah, no, I've never tried it like that, really.
Yeah.
But it opens your mind up in a different way.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
you say, meditation's opening it up. Like
I think obviously like DMT and stuff, it's like a spiritual ritual that has been used by shamans for a very long time, and I think there's a way to use these things respectfully.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And also abuse them, but...
You can abuse anything, no, can't you?
True.
Exactly.
You can.
Sneak.
But that's how...
Leaking that out.
It's nice to know that people find spirituality other ways and not just like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's go hug a tree.
Yeah.
Is there like a local like mediumship community? Is there like one big WhatsApp group?
No.
I want to know if there's rivalries.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, like,
yeah.
Do you know what? There's a lot of people that have said things about me who are mediums and are spiritual people. Not necessarily all negative, but there's been a few, I've heard he's to try and get my clients, basically.
Yeah.
I'm too easygoing for that shit. I'm just like, each for your own. I've seen other mediums work, and when I've seen them work, I've not been like, I'm like, go on, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, in a supportive way, like, I want to see people do good. It's nice to see people do good, rather than going to watch someone and hope that they fail.
That's the best mindset to be in.
Oh, God, yeah,
innit?
life's too short for that shit.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Derek Acora? Because we have our mate on Barry Dodds, and he's well into like the paranormal.
He does the Parapod. Have you heard of that?
No,
it's paranormal podcast.
So basically, Barry's a big believer, and then he does it with someone who's a big skeptic, and he tries to tell him the story, these ghost stories, and he's just like, oh, that's a load of shite. That. Yeah. But he went to see Derek Acora, and he went twice because he bought his own tickets, but then someone bought him tickets for like his birthday or something. They didn't know he'd been, so he went back, and he said the show was very similar the second time round, which made him sort of be like, I don't know about this. And then he asked him about, because when they done Most Haunted, one of the producers made up a spirit, and Derek apparently got possessed by this one, but he'd made it up. So he just made him look like a knobhead, basically. Oh. And he asked him about that spirit in the live show, and he apparently like kicked off on him and really didn't like the fact that he brought it up. So I was just wondering if you had any
I've
opinions on him or met him or anything like that.
No, so I can't possibly say on that. But no, I've not.
Barry they made Parapod the movie. Is it on Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And where was there? Edinburgh Vaults, was it? Yeah, so he went down. They was basically looking for ghost spirits the whole time, and they couldn't find any, and then it was like the last place. They went to Edinburgh Vaults, and Barry saw a terrifying spirit, and he just he just went mad.
He had like a full breakdown off of it, like he was so scared of it, Jesus, mad.
This is why I don't do ghost hunts.
I was going to say, you said you don't do them in it, Do you have like an idol, like a medium idol, who you're like, he's the top guy, him, or?
There's definitely other mediums that I look up to. So there's one, he used to have a TV there's a couple actually, now you mention it. Someone called Colin Fry.
Oh, I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's passed away now, bless him. He was really, really good. And then there's one called John Edward. He lives in America now. I think he's always lived in America. I'm not too sure. But he had a TV show too, so I watched them.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
like I've kind of looked up to them and got hints from watching their shows and stuff, like how to kind of come across with it. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'd say I do have a couple that I'll go to,
That's cool. Yeah. Have you got
getting any spirits?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. So. Right.
Hey.
I don't know if they're actually more because they keep having me look. I don't know. Don't panic and think.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm ready.
I don't know. There's a few. So
I do believe we're sponsored by Manscaped.
Ooh. And you know, when I'm prepping my balls to dip them in household condiments, I'm using Manscaped products. We just received our performance package, and including in that, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, which is this nifty little shaver. Very lightweight. It's waterproof. Got a little light on it so you can really see what's going on down there. You also get Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Give your balls a little spritz, make them smell nice. And you also get some anti-chafing ball deodorant. Look at that. Lovely balls. I'm airy up here. I'm smooth as a seal from the neck down.
Ladies, we go through so much grooming, from eyebrows to eyelashes, hair and nails. The very least your fella can do is tidy up his horrible scraggly ball sack. If you're looking for a chunky gift for your man, look no further than Manscaped.
During the 4 million men worldwide who have reduced odour, their chance of ingrown hairs, nicks and cuts on the ball bag, get yourself a performance package today. Use the code TMHC20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping shipping. Plus, you get a little gift with it. These anti-chafing underpants. Very
They
soft.
feel amazing.
And you also get this bag, which is nice and smooth, like your bag will be when you use the Lawnmower 4.0.
You know, if you're looking to buy a gift for your dad, now I don't know much about dads, but from what I see in the films, they've got hairy noses and hairy ears. Well, in that case, the Weed Whacker, perfect for those hairy crevices.
Get on it. Manscaped.com. Use code TMHC20 at checkout. 20% off. Free shipping. Your balls will thank you. Your missus will thank you. Your fella will thank you.
Your dad'll thank
Your dad will thank you. Go get it. We love yous.
Love you.
Back to the show.
Bye.
Nice one.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you about Munch Tame. Munch Tame is the UK's #1 smoke shop. So you want to hit up them for any skins, grinders, blunt wraps. They sell CBD, flour, raws, lighters.
Blazy Susans,
Them.
rolling trays.
We've got a little promo code. It's Mild High UK. If you use that, you get £2 off your order. Munchtame.co.uk. Support the podcast. Enjoy the rest of the show. Love yous.
Sometimes, if it's just like on a one-to-one base, I can be like, oh, such words coming through, but we'll see where it goes. So I was picking up on. Let me just. It's like, give me the water. There is when I say like a father figure, I feel things more. So I could feel like a father figure present that was there for you. I feel he was over there because he keeps kind of bringing my attention over there. So when I say father figure, when I feel it that way, they'll kind of show me things in my mind like my dad, but I don't feel it's 100% your dad necessarily. If like I want to look a bit further, so like granddad energy is what I want to pick up on there.
Okay.
So it's picking up on that. But then there's a younger male as well that keeps getting my attention, and I can't keep. I'm like, he keeps kind of. He's quite wild.
Amy did mention because there's a couple of us, it might be a little bit confusing for you.
So I'm kind of like, but there's this younger male that keeps popping in and out. But I don't know if he passed in more of like to do with like an accident or suicide. So I don't know if he's more on this side of the room. So I keep picking up on that. There's like a Chris connection too. I don't know if that's his name though.
Right.
Who he connects with, but like Chris. I kept picking up on that. But so again, just yes or no, don't say too much. But so do you understand the father figure that passed?
Yeah.
Because he keeps kind of pushing forward there. Because he kept pointing out, one thing I fucking forgot to bring. I was like, fuck me, my watch, I've left it at home. I was like, oh, look stupid now. But he keeps pointing me to the watch. Really, so something to do with the watch. So I don't know if it's that you've got his watch or if it's like mum's got it type thing. There's something to do with giving you the watch of this gentleman's that I keep connecting with.
My dad did have a brother called Chris.
Yeah.
Funnily enough as well. Yeah, that's true. who passed away maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
No way.
So obviously that'd be your Uncle Chris. So did Uncle Chris pass in a more tragic circumstance?
Yeah.
So to speak?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was a bit of a sob story, Chris, but
yeah,
good man. Yeah.
So they have no boundaries, spirit. Sometimes they'll just say it. So I don't know if he was the one who had the difficulties around alcohol.
Yeah.
That's what I was being shown with that there.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He's a bit of a crazy one in a good way. He's not boring. He's fucking mental there in spirit. When I say crazy, I don't mean like loopy. I mean like, rah, you know, like full of beans. He's like top level there, like going here, there, and everywhere.
It's fell off here. No way.
Mate, if you couldn't describe Chris Keegan any other way, it's like a big presence.
It's like a firework.
Yeah.
That's because then I was like, is this the father? I was like, who the fuck are you? I was like,
that's kind of an emotional there, fucking hell.
No, it is. And this is why I like to do it, because it does hit on an emotional level, because it's able to help. Because no matter how we lose a loved one or who that loved one may be, he's like, what the fuck's going on here?
It's like, it's just a bit like, whoa.
Yeah, so no matter how we lose a loved one or who that loved one may be, the circumstances of how they passed, we still tend to carry burdens and guilt. We still carry that the most negative feeling of all, which is grief. So that's what they'll try and help with when they come through with it. So he's coming through the way that you remembered him, not the way how he passed.
Mad.
Because that's what he's trying to do there. So is it your dad that passed though?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad passed.
Yeah, they're trying to
as well.
But Granddad said, you've got quite a lot. They're all over on this. I'm like, yeah, I was trying to share a bit. And your uncle's like, fuck off, Mike. We're over here. I'm like, right, okay. Your dad's quite quiet compared to his brother.
My family were, my dad's side, the Keegans, were all characters.
Yeah.
To put it.
All wild boys.
Yeah, your dad seems a bit more quiet than your uncle, though. Like, your uncle's quite like in your face, but in a funny way. Do you know if your uncle was intoxicated when he passed?
No, he wasn't. No.
Right. Because there was, it's funny. It's really funny. I don't know if somebody joked about leaving something with him. So I don't know if it's like a spliff or a bottle of beer or something like in his coffin. He was joking about that.
Yeah.
So he's having a laugh about that. He's like, I've got it. He's having a laugh about that there. And do you know, I want to look like maybe someone that's on your level, so like niece or granddaughter, but there was a younger female that he kept showing me that was talking about releasing the balloons for him or the lanterns for him, because they kept being shown letting go or something.
Yeah, there was 3 brothers. There was my dad, Brian, and Chris. And at Chris's funeral, we released doves.
So it wasn't a balloon or that; it was a dove
in Stanley Parks. Yeah. They released. Yeah.
So he was there for that. And again, some people might think, well, that's a bit insensitive talking about like what happened after the funeral. But would I be correct in saying that the cremation is with your uncle?
Yeah.
Do you know if someone? Just yes or no. But do you know if someone's still got his ashes?
I'm not too sure.
He's really funny. So
He's really funny.
He really is funny. I'm not just saying it. He's funny as fuck. He's like, well, mention about separating the ashes. He's like, I know about it. So I don't even know if you know that.
No.
You're going to have to let us know and kind of like pop it back onto it and be like, he was right. We've all got them. But there's something to do with separating his ashes. But then he showed me like, that's my wedding ring, mine. But he showed me like jewelry being made out of ashes and stuff. But he's kind of like, oh, leave that out. I think it's a cool app, but your uncle's not into it. It's like,
so I don't know. So maybe there's something going on with the KEEGAN side of the family.
Yeah.
No way. That was really. Yeah.
Your dad's telling me though, now that your dad's coming in a bit more, he kept showing me, so he kept pointing me to, so I have tattoos, I have some in memory of people, but your dad kept mentioning something to do with the tattoo. So if it's not directly you that got the tattoo for dad, keep an open mind to like siblings or somebody wanting to do it for dad.
Yeah,
so it's been shown.
I have got a couple of tattoos, but not on towards, no meaning towards them. Yeah, right, yeah. Okay. Maybe that's. I mean, these are teaming in tattoos. Maybe it's something for them.
Yeah. So I seen it. So whenever spirits show me angel wings, but in a tattoo form, that's normally my symbol of like the tattoo in memory of. So that's what they kept showing me the symbol of, unless they're trying to jump.
Yeah.
It's. Let me see if I can. Your uncle's still kind of like, oh, Mike, guess what? I'm like, wait a minute.
Shut up, really,
I'm like, relax, dude, relax.
I'm still trying to remain very, like calm about it. But it's when someone. I'm sound. But when someone gets, it just sounds right.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, it's like that was like no information at all.
We didn't know you had an uncle called
No. We didn't even know that.
Yeah. And this is why I like to do what I do. I don't think that I'm like special or I'm gifted or I'm the best thing. I'm not. I do have a lovely connection with spirit, but it's about them. It's not about me. It's kind of like what they want to give. And this is what any reading should be like. They should be able to give facts, not there's a lady wandering around with pink slippers on and fuck that. I want more than that. And that's why I was like hearing the names, and he was showing me like his personality. He's not finished just yet, so I thought they're going to still bring me back over to it. It's really not giving, and it's like, I've fucking been waiting. Have you never had a reading before?
Never. No,
so this is why he's like, fucking get over it. I'm like, right, all right, I'm listening. But I am being brought over this side too, so hold on, let me try and slow him down. I'm like, go on, help him in, mate. Help him in. Like, stop blocking the doorway, Chris.
Off, Chris. Come on, mate. There's a chance.
He's like, fuck off, I've waited for this. There is a strong mother energy that I feel, but I don't know whose side she's for. When I say mother energy, again, if it's not directly mum, we can look forward as in like grandmother energy. But I'm a little bit confused. I do feel like I want to look more. There's a lady with like an M-A-R sounding name. Like M-A-R.
Yeah.
That's my symbol of like Margaret, Mary sounding name. That's what I keep being shown there.
Two of them. Margaret and Mary.
Yeah, isn't it?
Andy's got a tattoo of
Yeah.
But it's not angel wings, oh no?
No, it's Margaret.
Perfect. So when they show me the angel wings, it's not necessarily that we've got it done for them. As such, it's just a symbol that we have a tattoo for them.
Yeah.
If it's because I'm thick as big, I always say I'm no like fucking Einstein. I'm a bit because I think I text you about 50 times. I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
Like, I bet it's like, oh, this guy's stupid. But so if it's something that I'm not familiar with, they'll try and show me in a different way or in a symbolic type of way. So that's what's picking up on there.
Right.
So is Margaret from mum's side then? Yeah. Because that's where I was picking up from mum's side. But then is Mary from dad's side? Because that's where this is weird. So I like to explain. She's like, this is weird. So mum's side's normally to the left, dad's is normally to the right. So that's mum's, Margaret, that side there, dad's side, that side. So that's what I was picking up on there. There's something to do with, obviously I'm trying to get them to be careful because, this is going to be going on, everything's like, what are you saying?
Hold on there,
do you understand? I'm like, hold on, Nan, relax. She kept showing me something to do with like a family dispute or like a, I got the feeling of like a separation within the family, but after she passed.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, she doesn't agree with that.
Doesn't agree with it.
But I want to say she's not pointing fingers at like you or your mum. Like, we're not
Yeah.
She's not bad mouthing anyone. It's just kind of like somebody was a bit greedy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if your nan swore or not, but she's like greedy bastard. So like, oh,
I didn't see her swear, but from what I've heard from my mum, she will have
She's
been
quite a rebel, yeah. She's quite a rebel, yeah.
yeah.
Small but feisty, this one, but she's just acknowledging the trouble that went on with that there. And the message with that to, hang on, let's see. So do you know if Mum wears her ring now then?
Where's my grandma's ring?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not too sure, but possibly.
So if she's not, you're going to think of so mad. She's got to wear it because your grandma's like, mention about wearing the ring.
Okay.
But she kind of showing it was in like she is wearing it. So if she's not, this will be her way of like, make sure you wear it.
She might be, but I'm not sure. But I'll definitely tell her. Yeah.
And your grandma keeps talking to me about, so do you not have children yet? There's a reference to kids.
No, we don't.
There's a big reference to kids there. So don't shoot the message.
I want goats.
Goats.
Maybe goats are kids. Will that do?
So we've always been saying that we don't want kids.
Right.
So is she saying?
She's like, have kids.
Have kids.
This is the thing. So they'll bring these things through. It's kind of what she showed, because specifically she showed me a little girl and she told me I could say little girl. So I fucking advise you not to do it because girls are more hard. I got one of each. So
right, yeah.
No, I'm joking. But when they shot me in this way, it's kind of like, this is what you can have. Because not everyone can have children. Some people aren't able to have children. Some people just don't want them. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that you guys don't want. I'd fucking prefer goats. You know what I mean? I love my kids. But don't sound easy than kids. Especially gobby ones. But yeah, so it's kind of like, should you choose differently, it will be there in your path.
Okay.
So don't panic.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. No,
But that's what's picking up on that there. And this might hit kind of, you know, on like a bit of an emotional level there, but your grandma's passing thanks to your mum for everything that your mum did for her. Yeah. She's making me feel like, no offense to other people in the family, but your mum was one of the main ones for her. Okay. And she's trying to pass thanks. Yeah. In that direction there, like, I'm thankful, I'm thankful. That's what she keeps bringing through. Yeah. Something big around grandma in that way there. Who had the car crash too? I don't know if this might be someone from your side. No, sure. I don't feel like they passed in it. No. I feel like it's someone that's still living that had the car accident.
I'm not sure. I know my mum had a little car crash, but I don't think it was anything major though.
Your car you've currently not got
your
own
car broke
car.
down. I didn't crash though.
All right. Did the pedals just stop working or something though? Like
the car just cut out while I was driving.
It was your nan.
Your nan took a spot. Give me that coat. I'm not driving no more. Yeah, no, I don't know. She just kept showing me something about a car to start. Is that the Audi?
No.
Who's got the Audi then? Who's talking about getting the Audi?
Graham, my stepdad's got an Audi.
Right.
No way.
But he hasn't crashed it.
No.
Yet.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not predicting it, don't worry. There's nothing bad with that. It just felt like there was a little incident, but I know that nobody passed. Like nobody died in it type thing. So no. Bringing my attention to that.
Unless that's something for you. That's not that I know of anyway. Yeah. My mum might tell me, like, because my mum watches these as well, so she might be like, that's that. But as far as I don't know anything about
that's
that.
okay. That's okay. Keep that one there. And it's not an awful lot, but there is, you've got someone quite quiet with, it sounds really silly, someone quite quiet with you, but quite like an innocent soul that's there. But I do feel like it's more, again, of a grandmother energy that I feel is popping in there. She kept showing me a symbol to do with like being somewhat of a spirit guide. It's funny because he was making jokes about it before, like, oh yeah, my granddad's my spirit guide, or my aunties. Sometimes they can be, but that's what's being shown, like this lady being more of like a guide helping you in that way. Do you have your own tarot cards and stuff like that? Because I keep hearing her saying she helps with that. Whose dad passed?
Not mine.
Your dad's still living too?
I think so.
Because I can just feel it in the background there, like, because obviously know your dad's passed.
Well, funnily enough, I was as you were talking to Dean, I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I was always told my dad died of a heart attack, but I have my suspicions. Can you feel anything towards that?
So, again,
it's okay as well. No. I'm all right with it being said and that. Yeah.
So when your uncle's kind of in the way, like, all right, you can help. Your dad's like, well, you fuck off. I'm like, right. So was your dad, just yes or no, but was he already in hospital?
My dad, well, I have very little knowledge of how he passed.
Because I was being shown something to do with like I was being shown needles symbolically. I always trust the very first. If somebody asks me a question about the loved ones or about anything, I always trust the first thing they show me. So I was being shown something to do with needles, but I don't know if he was having to have needles around that time for some reason. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the full ins and outs, but I don't know if there was something that was given to him that boosted this in some way or made it happen faster. Right. There's something around that there. Because I don't feel like I'm just sat at home. I don't feel like I'm just sat at home and then it just happened out of nowhere type thing. But it's not. And they're very blunt, your loved ones, especially your dad and your uncle. They're like, but he wasn't murdered. I'm like, right, okay, fucking hell.
Really? Yeah.
Get the picture.
I'll be honest. He was a bit of a rogue, my dad. Yeah. My mum tells stories about because Chris was his younger brother. Yeah. And my dad would go to jail for something, and Chris would follow him in to the jail.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he just didn't like to not be around him.
Yeah.
They were very poor growing up, and
they
kind of stuck together. They were very close. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but your uncle Chris, he passed more recent though compared to Dad, because that's the feeling that I get with that there. And when he showed me, I don't know if there was something like internal bleeding with your uncle or a reference to blood. I kept being shown something to do with bleeding.
It was alcohol, but then it was just over time. Yeah.
So it kind of I don't know. There was something to do with like an internal bleed or something to do with. I don't know if he was coughing up blood. I know it sounds a bit.
No. Yeah.
There was something to do with that, but
maybe
he showed me where. The reason why he's making literally a big song, because he's fucking dancing and everything there. Like he is not boring. He's like a fucking good night out. I'm telling you, he's really fun. But he just keeps saying, Mike, the reason why I've been wanting to come through to him is because I want him to know that he has nothing to be sorry for. Because it's kind of like since your dad passed, it's like everyone was trying to be there for Chris as well because of how close they was. Yeah. But what your uncle showed me is where like you've carried somewhat of like a burden or a guilt because you never got the chance to say goodbye to him.
Right, okay.
In the way that you wish you could.
Yeah.
So that's why he's bringing that through, and he's saying you have nothing to feel bad for. I don't want you to feel like you should have or could have done anything differently. He's like, it's okay to let it go. Did you actually choose to see him after he passed?
As in his corpse.
Yeah.
No, I never. Yeah, his corpse. I know. Yeah, bloody hell.
So I don't know, because he...
It was not like an open casket. I don't
that's
know.
The one, yeah.
No.
His corpse.
So maybe not his
lifeless body.
Because he brought me to like the time or around the time of his passing. So I don't know if it's just before he passed or just after. Because sometimes I can get it mixed.
I did see him before he passed.
I laugh so much.
But you wasn't there as he passed, no?
No.
Because that's what he made me feel. So that's what you're trying to validate there.
Funny that. At least to be fair, I'm glad we brought it up a little bit. So I was getting a bit heavy.
They get heavy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's gonna in it. It's past family members and whatever in it. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting though. You know what I mean? And it's nice to not always try and be on and be a comedy podcast. It's just interesting sometimes.
It's funny though because this is why I really love doing what I do, because when they come through, they're not boring. If they was boring here, they're going to be boring when they come through, and I'm kind of like, for fuck's sake. The other ones are a bit draining sometimes, like the Debbie Downers. But your uncle, like, if I wanted to like, I was not going to sit here, start bouncing around looking like a tip, but that's what he feels like, and he's coming through funny, and his dad is laughing. Like that's what he's all about. So that's why it's not.
That's Chris Talent to a T. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they're not boring.
Funny.
Some of them are, but he's not. He's it is mad. It's crazy, but I wouldn't change it. The reason why I like doing it and the reason why I love doing it is because of how it helps people.
Yeah.
Because I really do see the side of it. Like there's so many different people that I've read for over the years, where with like so many different passings that they've had in the families, and it's weird to see them like when they come in. Sometimes people are like quite nervous and scared. I'm like, fucking hell, relax, don't bite. Chill out, sit down, put your feet up if you want. I'm not asked. And then when they leave, it's like two different people in a way. I'm not saying that's because of me, but that's because of what their loved ones have been able to bring through to help with. So it's mad. It's wild as well. But that's why I love doing it.
Mad.
Is she saying out or?
She's saying out.
You're saying out else. What's going on? She's just kind of like, I'm guiding her. That's how, and then we've got Big Chris is what I want to call him. Big Chris in background, like over here.
That's mad with the tarot cards though, isn't it? Because whenever you do them, you do always. You've said that loads of time, like you felt like whether you're writing or any sort of decision, you felt like it's been channeled, like rather than.
Yep. Yeah, I've had some weird. I'll write stuff and it'll come true.
Yeah. So it's kind of like manifesting, isn't it, in a sense, but using.
Yeah. And I'll get like, I'll just know if something's like I'll get an idea or something, and my whole body would be like, yeah.
Yep.
And I'd be like, okay, well, we're going that way.
But you also get it to where you get like a feeling and you think, no, I don't want to do that. It feels wrong.
I get it with people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very good at, I'd be like, something not right about him, even if everyone else is like,
welcome to my life. Honest, the amount of times where, especially with family, and like, what do you think of this guy? And I'm like, prick.
yeah.
And I'll be honest, because it's family. Come like, no, absolutely, don't be tight. He's been through this. So he's a fucking week later, they're like, you're right, it's a knobhead. He's robbing money, or he's done. I was like, fucking told you.
That's what she's like with it, yeah.
It's like an intuition thing. I feel like everyone has that, but for you more so with your little nan there, kind of acknowledge it in a sense of she's helping, as in guiding you. So you're maybe a little bit further into it type thing, as in like maybe a little bit more spiritual than someone else type thing. You know, it's like sensing things, feeling things. It's like a psychic ability. So never tell you that. I'm looking at the curtain. I don't panic. She's not like boo.
I knew they were behind that curtain. He said it, and I was scared to see little feet poking out the bottom and everything.
Imagine I'd die.
So you're gonna end up well more spiritual now, aren't you?
I think I'd like to expand on it, on the abilities.
I definitely would. I always look back and think like, because I wasn't really confident in myself, and I was kind of like, oh, I can't do that. Like, you know, when you see other people like the guys that I'd watch on TV doing it and stuff, and like, I'd love to do that one day type thing. But whereas now I am doing it, and it's not that I'm up my own ass. It's just that everyone needs a bit of self-love and a bit of self-worth, and I've finally managed to give myself that. So now I'm like, I do these big shows, and not shows, but like big events and stuff, and read for like hundreds of people. Well, not hundreds of people, but there's hundreds of people that's in front of me whilst I'm doing readings and stuff. And that's because I believed in myself, and I believed in myself that I was capable of doing it. And it's like coming here today, like nothing felt wrong for me coming here at all. Like it felt good. And that would have been because I wouldn't have known already in the car, like, oh, your uncle was going to come through, or your nans and stuff. But I would have felt that energy that was there, which made me feel like it was all right. There's been times when I've not gone to do stuff. Like, I'll tell you a quick story. So years ago, this is what kind of brought my spirituality back, because I just remember waking up one morning, I think I was 15 at the time, and I just got the feeling as if somebody was going to die. Like that awful gut feeling, like something is horrible, something horrible was going to happen.
Bad off, yeah.
So I was like, oh shit. So my first thought was my nana, which thankfully she's still alive now, my mum's mum. And I seen her twice that day, she was fine, but that feeling kept coming back throughout the day, and I was thinking, what the fuck is going on here? And then it turned out to be that later on that night when I was out with my friends on this park thing, this lad went past on his bike, and I just looked over, and that feeling came back, and I thought, is he going to die? I thought I was getting fucking crazy, to be honest. But then he then brought a group full, like about 30 of them back, and then we all got jumped on the park. So So he was like, Mike, go home. I told you it was a bit thick, so I didn't listen. I was just like, it's probably just nothing. I'll be all right. But I do believe, but that was them trying to get me to.
You do get, like, sometimes you do feel energies change in places and that, and you go, something's a bit off here, and then something will kick off, or something bad happens, and you're like, oh, I'm glad we didn't go there, because this and that, like, is a weird
just
one,
like
isn't it?
Bad voodoo, innit? You just feel it a little bit in your bones.
Yeah.
You mentioned then you were 15 when you were in school. Was you quite closed off with it, or did you ever just like scare one of your teachers or something? Just be like,
imagine that, miss.
Yeah,
your mum's here.
Yeah, just
right,
freak your teacher out. Well, Gladys says hello.
She's like, what the fuck? That's my name. No, I can't. I didn't tell anyone in school. To be fair, I didn't, because I didn't want to be looked at differently.
Yeah, kids can cruel.
So I was like,
kids get bullied just for like having the wrong bag and that. You start going and see dead people, they're like, fuck off, 6 cents.
So I was like, I'm not saying, no, fuck that, I'm not telling them that. So I didn't bother. But then it wasn't, then that happened, and then I ended up leaving school in year 10 because it kind of formed like an anxiety thing with me after what happened. Whereas I've got an older brother, and he's like, oh, just go back out, you'll be fine, don't be a mad ass, you should have hit back and all the rest of it. Whereas for me, kind of, I dealt with it differently, so I didn't like to be around people, I didn't like going out and stuff. So I was in school, and then that's when it kind of got intensified. So I was around people in school, and I was hearing things, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck me, I'm going crazy here. But then it's after that, when, do you know when I was telling you about my sister watching that TV program and stuff, and then that's when I was like, oh, so that's why I feel a bit fucking overwhelmed to the max when I'm near people that I don't really know much about.
Because there's fucking so many things trying to come in.
So many different things, but because I didn't have much of an understanding of it and how to control it, whereas now I can peacefully go out it's not saying peacefully, but I can peacefully go out
can put the
sometimes.
shutters
Yeah, I
down
can shut
and
it down.
get
Yeah,
out,
but
can't you?
whereas if I've had like a full day of readings, or if I've got an event on at that night, doing loads of readings that evening, I'll not really pick up on much. But let's say if it's on a weekend, or if I've had a week off or something, or I've done it before, I've been on holiday. And it's really fucking funny. I was sat in the sea in Spain, do you know, in my daughter's rubber ringy thing, just floating away. And this woman just floated past. And then I was like, oh, Nan's with her. I was like, she's fucking swimming at sea or something. I was like, so then I looked, I was like, I thought, I was on holiday. I thought, she doesn't fucking know who I am. So I don't have to be like, oh, do you believe in mediums? So I just thought, fuck it. So I was like, your Nan's talking to me about you losing the broken ring. And she's like, what the fuck? I was like, I think I'd had a drink or something.
That must be a trip, that, just swimming in the sea and you go, your Nan said about that broken ring. Like, what?
No, but she was in a rubber ring thing too, so we wasn't really getting away from each other. So maybe that's why she's like, mention the ring. I know she's lost it. Or it's something about broken ring or lost the broken ring, something like that. And she was just like, oh my God, no way. Like, and I had a crying in the sea, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. Fucking awkward thing is, we was only in the same hotel when we got back. I was like, oh no, this is awkward. So I'm glad it went well. But I was like, imagine it was awkward. And she's like, the fuck are you on about?
Does alcohol ever dull it? Or is it just the same?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely dulls it. It gives me a bit more Dutch courage. Like I've done it before when I've been on a night out. And I don't really drink so much, but when I do, I was out once and some man was like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a medium. And he's like, what's one of them? I was like, I see dead people. Joking. I don't really like to use that term. In a joking way, I used it. Like, you know, the kid out of Sixth Sense, he's like, go on, tell me something. Then, you know, being dead cocky, didn't believe in it. But he was pissed anyway. And there was something about his dad that came through. And he's fucking following me around from like club to club. I was like, you can leave now, your dad's gone. Dad's gone, you can leave.
That must be annoying when someone's like so skeptic with it. Yeah. And you go, well, your dad's just told me this, and they're like, oh, tell me more. And you're like, no, fuck off. You didn't want to know, so you said I wasn't hobbit.
So me a minute ago, get fucked.
Yeah.
People must be like that as well. People must want more out of you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, definitely. And I understand it though. So it doesn't annoy me because I get it. Like if I was in that situation after, like, because I think, you know, everyone grieves, don't they? Everyone's gone through stuff like that. And with me, when I was younger, when I lost my granddad, he was like, I love my dad, don't get me wrong, but he was like another dad. So we was really, really close. So when I lost him, I would have loved if my mum would have took me to a medium or gone to, because I can't see my own loved ones the same way that I can connect with your loved ones. It's really weird. I can sense things. Like on the way here, I asked my granddad, I was like, show me the numbers. So like 444, I have like 11, 444. I was like, show me the numbers 444 when I see 444. I got in the park, in the car park, I was like, what a prick, he didn't even show it me. I was like, that's rude. Like, maybe it's going to be shit now. And then I literally just glanced up. I was texting my wife and I glanced up and it was 1444. And I was like,
there you go.
Like, people call it angel numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah. So why is it just because you're too emotionally attached to your family that you can't?
That's literally it. So it's,
what it is.
I'd be too biased, I think, if I was to try and bring them through and be like, oh, it's probably me just saying that, you know, like, oh, my granddad loves you.
Oh, because you know so much about, like, you know,
it's hard.
oh, you know your granddad's name, you know what he done, you know how he passed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I always say, though, at the same time, like, when I'm reading for people, it's so much more than just, like, what their name is. It's how they come through, which really... Like for your uncle, if I was like, oh, your uncle's really quiet, but it's not my fucking uncle.
Yeah, of course,
Because your uncle's like mad as a box of rocks.
Yeah.
So if I was like, oh, you know, there's someone called Chris, but then I'm picking up on this really quiet, it doesn't connect. So the way that they connect is through the feelings. So that's what I've got to go off when I'm doing readings and stuff. Even I've never read for family. I've picked up on things before, like random little things. Like with my mum, it was a couple of years back, and I was being shown like flashes of old photographs in my mind, and I said, have you just been looking under the bed at old pictures? She was like, yeah. I was like, oh. She's like, fucking weirdo. How do you know that? I was like, well.
Yeah, it's not. People, I think, expect you to be able to control what you receive. And I'm sure people have been like, oh, well, do the lottery numbers.
Oh, my dad always says it. He's like, got the lottery numbers yet, Mike? I'm like, no, I've not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not, like you say, you don't claim that you're a psychic.
No.
Do you? You're a spirit medium.
Yeah.
Which is two different things,
so
isn't it?
It's a psychic. So it's two. Apparently, every medium is psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. So mediums are more like they'll specify in like connecting with people that have passed away.
Yeah.
Connecting with spirit. Whereas a psychic will read your energy.
Yeah.
Whereas a medium will read their energy, but kind of like combined in a way. So that's how I explain that.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was looking at the Patreon questions, and we've touched on a lot of it, really. But Harriet Sloan has asked, is there any that stands out? Is what's your most emotional reading that you've had, or something that really... You know, one where you were like, this is a big one.
It's weird because it's literally just giving me the shivers. That there was one where, obviously I can't say too much because it is private and confidential.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
People, and it's one that there's a couple now. God, there's a few actually. There was one who somebody lost their little boy, and from what I remember, I'm sure it was leukemia that he had. Wow. And the way that it's weird because I've never felt anything so strong, and it's from a child that was coming through.
Yeah.
I was being shot. I felt like I was him, how he was coming through. It's so weird. Like his mum was holding him. I think he was 6, from what I remember. I think he was 5 or 6. And I was being shown like his mum holding him as he took his last breath. Wow. But it's weird because I could feel like I could hear a heart beating and stuff, like from when he was laying on her chest. It was deep that. Yeah. And I was actually crying with the mum when I was reading it.
It's a heavy one.
I was like, I'm so sorry. Wow. I couldn't catch my breath. I was like, like shit, this has never happened before. But it was wild that.
So do you know when like that happens and a kid comes through or whatever?
Yeah.
Are they a child forever?
No, so what it is, it's like when if somebody has like a miscarriage or a baby that's born sleeping, I'll acknowledge it as in like, oh, you're such a body, there's a baby that's there, but they still learn and grow in spirit, but not how we would grow here on earth, if that makes sense. So they'll still learn things. So let's say, for example, if it was your sister that had passed and she was only a baby when she passed, but you was born after her type thing, she'd communicate in a way of like, well, I'm learning things through his life experiences and other people's life experiences. So it's not like they're growing old, but there's been things that's been communicated before where, for like a mother that's lost a daughter, and I've said things like, not me, but what they've said is things along the lines of like, well, look at those pictures of when you was 15, that's how old I would be now, that's what we'd look similar in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's mad.
Have you ever? I thought it was really funny as well. When he was like, he wasn't murdered. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I mean, obviously, I know it's very confidential and stuff. Has that ever came up and you've been told maybe I'm not going to say it or
solved a murder case?
There has been a few. There was one, from what I remember, it's actually for someone in America. So I do like readings over Zoom and stuff like that too. So it's not just in person. And there was one in America where they wasn't sure if a son had shot himself or if he'd been shot.
Yeah.
And I got shown that he'd been shot, and it's by his girlfriend's secret
lover.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, shit.
Like, literally, and she was, but the woman who was reading, she was kind of like, I'm not too sure. And then literally she got back in touch with me the week after, and she'd found out about this affair that her daughter-in-law, or soon-to-be daughter-in-law, was having.
That's a heavy one, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jesus
like,
Christ.
He was murdered, he didn't shoot himself. Because it's weird, because I don't know if they got it wrong, but it was like a gunshot from through the head. That sounds a bit grimness. But at first I was like, oh, he must have done it that way. But he was like, no, it's at the back. It was at the back. So I was like, how the fuck do you manage to shoot yourself from the back? But then I was being shown somebody else pulling the trigger. So
yeah.
Mad. So it does get heavy. It does get heavy.
Yeah. Well, it's going to win it because not like most deaths aren't just pass peacefully in the sleep.
Yeah, no, God no.
There's usually 90% of the time it's either some sort of disease, an accident, murder.
Suicide, yeah, absolutely.
So there are always going to be like heavy things tied to it, innit? Yeah,
definitely.
Mad.
Not to be silly, we joked about it in the car.
Yeah.
Not to be silly or disrespectful.
No, that's all right.
Are there animal spirits?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're gonna think I sound crazy now. Another thing I asked for. So animal spirits that come through, do you mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not like Caesar the dog whisperer. Heaven. But
heaven.
yeah, like the dog like doesn't all of a sudden speak English. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like the dog's like woof woof and Mike says hi. So I've actually brought animals through, mainly dogs, I would say, but there has been an odd cat. Oh, it sounds crazy, but like a rabbit soul. I've seen a rabbit. It's not like they've been like, they really love the veg that used to feed them. It's not so much like, it's like a feeling. It's more from dogs. I don't know if it's because dogs are more like intuitive animals, I don't know why, but I'll feel things from them. So it's not like they're communicating to me, but it's like a feeling. So like, or I'll see like snippets through their eyes, as weird as it sounds. So there's one that I recently did where I was being shown snippets of a beach, but with what looked like a lighthouse. And I'm thinking that can't be in the fucking UK. That looks shite. UK shit, innit? But she was like, no, that's because we got him from this other country and da-da-da. She was like, no way.
Oh,
so,
mad.
And there's one reading I remember once where this woman took a dog. I didn't know what car she had, and I was in my office at the time because I'm working from home at the minute, but I had an office, so there wasn't like a car park there. It's kind of like this building, like you wouldn't know if I pulled up here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know. Well, you can't fucking see out the curtain anyway, but do you know what I mean? But
I'm never opening them curtains ever again.
Just in case that boom. Jesus Christ. But yeah. And she has a convertible car, this woman. She had an English Bull Terrier, and I was being shown like when she was driving to the vets with the dog. And this sounds like I'm going to try and find the woman and ask her if I can use it as a testimonial thing. A fucking seagull flew into her car because she had a convertible, but the dog was like fucking batting with this seagull. this thing. I was like, what the fuck's with a seagull in the car? She's like, I've got a convertible car, and a seagull flew into the car on the way to the vets when a dog was dying. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
That's mad,
So, yeah.
isn't it?
But I'm pretty sure as well, though, that like the human souls will help bring them through. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
I see dogs running around everywhere.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I was like trying to step over them.
It's mad though, but recently we lost our dog and our little dog Buster, and literally the weekend of him passing, I did keep imagining him, so I knew the difference between like imagining him or I've seen his soul. I kept imagining him because we have another dog as well. So we've got a big dog and then a little dog is a little dog that passed. And so I'd seen him because we was decorating the kitchen, trying to keep our minds, occupied and stuff. And then I looked over and was like, no, that's him. It's just my mind. But then I was painting one wall, and Blake, our big dog, so he's like a big wrinkly Shar-Pei. He was stood. He's just fucking pervs at you through the door. He's funny. He just stands there like watching you like fucking weird thing. But then I seen out the corner of my eye, so like here where I can see my hand now, I just seen, so our the little dog Buster that passed, he was more like black and tan. And I just seen like this black thing appear like near, like almost underneath his legs type thing. So I thought, if that really is you, I was kind of saying to my mind, like, if that's you, stay there whilst I've finished painting this bit. Yeah. And I could still see it there. And then when I looked, I seen him, but then when I blinked, it'd gone. I was like, no way, there was a dog. The dog's okay.
No.
It was mad.
So, like, do you, I don't know what's the best way to say it, like, handle people's deaths easier now? Does that make sense?
No, believe it or not. So, like, in my own family.
Yeah, like any personal ones, like.
It's, if anything, I feel like it's a bit more crippling. You think it'd be easy, but it's not. To be fair, I've not had a very recent close passing. Yeah, right. The closest one that I've lost was my granddad, which is my mum's dad. But then Buster the dog, I don't care what people say, dogs are family, animals are family.
Oh,
they're
definitely,
a family.
Yeah,
so when we lost him, I was like that week, because we knew that he was going to pass, because I didn't know it psychically. We had to make that choice for him. Yeah. So that week I was just like a fucking write-off. So I couldn't do any readings or because my head wasn't in the game. I was like, I just couldn't stop crying. I was just like constantly sobbing. I was like, oh my God, this is like the last Wednesday he's ever going to have. I was like, this is last Thursday and this is the last time you're going to see that back door. I was like a fucking extra as hell. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Well, you're probably naturally empathetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then imagine if you just wasn't asked about death.
If I wasn't asked, I think I wouldn't be a successful medium then. I don't think, because you've got to have some form of empathy towards other people. And
the reason I asked was I just thought, because obviously when people die, they're not dead. They're not gone forever.
No.
So then in my head, I just didn't know whether you deal with it better, but obviously it's still someone you know and love. And
I do. Obviously, I do know that they are okay and that there is a bigger and better place in here, so to speak. But yeah, I kind of thought like when it came to Buster the dog passing, I was like, I should be all right. I should be all right, because that's fuck no.
Yeah.
Turned sideways. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it's like a ton of bricks. That.
No way. That's mad.
Miranda asked. There was a 2-part question, but again, we've answered that, whether you get into a certain headspace. Yeah. But she's also asked, is it sometimes as simple as you're walking down a street and you can just look at someone and you'll get an urge to say something to them, or
so that has happened. I have learned, again, when I was talking before about kind of turning it down a bit, but there's been loads of places like when we've been out in restaurants, that's the worst. It's like fucking rough. It's like a fucking cemetery. In my mind, I'm like, oh no.
Oh my God.
I have to turn it down, because otherwise, I'm there with my family or friends or whoever, so I should be enjoying their company, not like fucking Meryl behind me, her mum's fucking cat and all the rest of it. So I've got to keep my head in it. But there has been times where they've pushed enough. Like I was in a queue in Asda and I did a reading for a woman. I was in Specsavers, out and about in a nightclub. There's been loads of places like walking the dogs, and so it does happen. Yeah. It does happen, but I normally find it happens if I've not already done like readings that day. So if I'm kind of like a little bit zapped energy wise, I'm like, it won't really happen so much unless you really, really push. So so I do a random reading every now and again.
Nice.
Okay, you're probably a bit zapped, but I just want to know, is there anything from my granddad?
From your granddad's, right? Okay. So I am putting the thoughts out there. I am like, come on in. I keep hearing like a music connection first when I don't know if it's mum's dad. Do you know like Frank Sinatra? I keep hearing that. I don't know if it's the name Frank though that they're trying to show me rather than the music, but there's also like a T reference. T. I don't know who. I'm asking for a bit more with that, because I'm like, anything could be T. I'm like, is it Tina? Is it Tom? I feel like it's more to do with the male name though, like Thomas or Tommy. So keep an open mind to both granddads with that one there. And when I'm asking them to give me a bit of validation, to show me who they are, how they're connecting, 2 different passings with granddads. It does feel 2 completely different passings from what I was picking up on. One felt to me like something quite sudden, quite quick, as in like a heart attack, heart failure. I don't know if that's more to do with mum's dad, though, rather than dad's dad. But I was being shown that, how do I word this? So was you a bit more closer with mum's dad?
I didn't know any.
Right.
So
Because it's weird, because what I'm feeling is like, no offense to dad's side, but with your mum's dad, there's like a closer connection.
So I've met him.
Right.
At a funeral. And he wasn't dead.
Not his funeral,
Yeah.
not the corpse.
His corpse. It was so metal.
And I think he might have known me when I was a baby, but I don't remember.
It's like no massive earth bond, so to speak, there. But that doesn't make a difference, because they do still watch over you. They do still watch over, and that's what they're trying to show there. But for some reason, I just felt like there was a bit of a closer connection with mum's side rather than dad's side. So that's what I was picking up on there. Your mum's mum, though, so you met her more, though, yeah?
Yep.
But I'm trying to figure out, because I felt like there's still a grandmother living.
Yeah, I had a dream about her the other night. I don't really know her either, but I didn't know whether to maybe try and get in touch.
Yeah. Is that from dad's side, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it mum's mum that's passed?
Yeah.
Because that's the one who was coming through like Little Nan before. That's how I wanted to refer to Little Nan, was coming through like, I'm helping her with this stuff. She should do it more.
She's very little. Yeah.
It's like a little pocket you can put in your pocket type thing.
Yeah.
It feels small but feisty. But yeah, so she's kind of still there. She's the one that's pointing me to the granddad. So her energy's a bit stronger. So when I was asking, like, can you bring someone in for me there? It was Little Nan that was kind of like, there he is. Here's a granddad. Everyone knows a John, but I do keep hearing John.
Yeah.
I hate it when that comes through, because my middle name's John. My brother's called John. I've got a granddad, fucking about a million Johns. So I'm like, please show me a different name.
Yeah.
I do get it mixed up sometimes, though. It could be like Jim rather than John, but it's like a short J referencing name is what I was picking up on with that there. I don't know if that's to do with mum's dad. There's not a great deal that comes from them as such.
Yeah. But I didn't really know them, so but that's kind of why I wanted to know.
Yeah.
But you could tell me anything, and I'd be like, maybe.
Your granddad was an acrobat. Yeah. The biggest drug lord going. No, I'm joking.
He won the first chippy in St. Helens.
Yeah, that's
that was a lie Amy's mum told her about her granddad.
Yeah. He's Chinese. Should he opened the first Chinese chippy in St. Helens?
Did you believe her as well?
Yeah.
I would have.
There's no reason not to, innit?
No,
Like,
yeah, but so the guy who opened the chippy was called Mr. Chow. But when I've later on found out that it was a different Mr. Chow.
It wasn't your granddad.
Yeah, so that's...
Wow, yeah, there wasn't a great deal that came through from that. It was more of like a guidance thing from mum's mum to you to like delve into this sort of stuff more.
Yeah, okay.
And she's helping you with that, so.
That's good, okay.
Like I could see you doing like Reiki and stuff like that. I could see you doing that.
My mum was a medium.
Wow.
But I feel like she used her powers for bad, to be honest. And yeah, it's very complicated. It's all very complicated. So I don't know. I don't know what you could tell me, to be honest.
Well, as you're saying there, Amy should try and get into it a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
But you're not young now. But sorry, go on. No, sorry, go on.
I tried to. Did you say I wasn't young now?
No, but I mean, you know, considering you didn't start when you were, like
7.
like Matt, yeah.
So I've seen ghosts when I was younger though.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Spirits.
Spirits.
We don't call them
We're
ghosts.
not the Ghostbusters.
But I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I started doing readings on here for guests.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of cynical comedians.
Jokey, yeah.
It's like it feels like a mockery of it almost.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing it.
So that's what she's obviously trying to push you back into in that way there. There's a lot of like energy work for you is what she's making me feel. So that's cool. So I'm sure our paths will cross again.
Yeah.
I'll be coming to you for Reiki or psychic readings or medium readings, and you'll be like, what are they saying? I'm like, right.
Like Buster's here.
Imagine.
Well, that's what Joe was asking, because she tells stories here about she's had loads of different experiences, stuff we've talked about, like being drawn to a person, but she's saying she didn't quite know what to say or how to channel it. I mean, I don't know how old Jo is, but she was asking how could she harness this? You know, what would your advice be
for somebody that's picking up on?
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
Again, trust it. Boundaries. It's good to learn boundaries. I learned that the hard way. Like I'd burn myself out sometimes. Like when I first started, I was doing like 7 readings a day and stuff, and I was like, well, fuck me. I was like zapped, and the readings were shit. They wasn't as strong and good. Whereas whereas now I do like 3 or 4 maybe a day, because I know that I can give my all to it and make them the best possible readings from my own side.
Yeah.
It's just that they've got to chip in then type thing.
Right.
But,
okay.
So that's what it is, 'cause it's energy work. But so it's things again like meditating, learning to meditate, connecting with your spirit guides, because it's those that you need to kind of like call upon in a sense to help you with it all. It doesn't just happen like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'd like to meditate. Do you attempt ever?
Try. Amy does it a lot. I try a few times. It's usually when I do psychedelics. I go,
really?
I want to meditate in this state. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that was when we done it the other night, and my fucking grandma come through to me and was like, it was weird.
Be asked talking to kids all night.
It was weird.
I'd be shattered.
But it wasn't like you don't talk though. It's more like it's like telepathic.
Yeah.
It's also obviously therapy's expensive. It's like therapy. You heal yourself, your mind.
I've attempted a handful and just I can't.
It's hard, isn't it?
It takes
it's
a
like
while.
anything though, innit? Yeah.
That's it. It's like you're learning a whole different language.
Yeah.
Learning a different sense that you've not exercised before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, like some people can meditate very naturally. Even still to this day, like I've done it for years now, like meditating, I still get lost and like I'm thinking about what I'm having for my tea instead of fucking what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah.
But it's quite a normal thing as long as you get 9 times out of 10 I fall asleep. Well, that's a good thing, because that's the whole point of meditating, is to relax your body and your mind. So if you can fall asleep, you relax. But yeah, so it's mad. But I go a sound bath that's on. It's on like a monthly thing in Warrington. If you ever fancy it, definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, that literally sets me up for the week when I've been there. I'm like, oh.
Well, our mate she's opening her own yoga studio, and she does all the sound baths and that. So I think we're gonna go to her
do it
sometime and do it. Yeah.
And what would you say, what about people who are scared about doing it? Like scared about seeing, but they just not come through if they're scared.
Do you mean like if somebody was wanting to read for someone, or me reading for someone that's scared?
Well, say if someone has an ability, but they don't want to tap into it because they're scared.
Yeah, so that was me basically.
Yeah.
Like I was scared of it at first, and then because we lived in a house at the time when I was going to like this development thing, we lived in a house that was haunted.
Right.
It was, and it wasn't nice. Like it wasn't a nice vibe. And at the time, so he was with the council. It was with the council property, and we was trying to move. There's this thing called home swapper, so we was looking at different houses, and every time we'd go there, you just get this feeling of like, nope. So something weird had happened in the house, but it wasn't just me that was feeling it. Like my family felt it.
Yeah, right.
My in-laws felt it. My wife felt it. She had like sleep paralysis quite a few times. I know that's not necessarily a spirit that's doing that, but and then she'd see people like walking around in the room and everything. It was fucked up, that house. But then when we finally found the house, not the house that we're in now, the house before that, to move into, it's like that just lifted that negative energy from the house. So it's kind of like somebody didn't want us to live there. I don't know if it's that something bad was maybe going to happen, but now that I'm more knowledgeable with it all, I don't think it was anything like a negative spirit as such. I feel like it was, they were trying to tell us that house wasn't for us, so they were trying to like
Right, okay.
to move on.
So with that, with your analogy before about the curtain, and there's not heaven and hell, but there's another side. So do you think there's certain spirits that don't get to go past that curtain and they stay here?
Yeah, so how I see it is, it's like, I've read for people before where there's been a loved one for them that have come through and they've not been a nice person, let's say if they've been abusive or, sick stuff.
Yeah.
I've felt their energy, and it's weird because normally I see it like where they're behind a door. So I'll visualize that. Well, my mind will show me that. So I normally know then that I've got to ask someone. So let's say if for example, not to use your uncle as an example, but if he was like a really horrific person who was horrible to you and all this lot, I would have seen him like behind a door. So then I would have to ask you if you're comfortable with him coming through. So it's kind of like I've got to ask for the person's permission sometimes if they're comfortable with.
I understand.
Yeah.
So like
they vibrate on like a lower vibration.
Yeah.
Whereas like your loved ones, they're on a higher vibration. Whereas like murderers, paedophiles, rapists, sick people, all horrible people like that, they do vibrate on a lower vibration.
So that kind of leads into the whole heaven and hell. Yeah. So high and low. Vibrational type thing.
Yeah, it's like
that's mad.
The lower vibrational, they're more heavier to connect with, and they're more like, if you do feel minging after it. Like I had to do a reading once. I didn't want to do it because I don't know why it's weird, because she didn't tell me anything about him, but this person that I read for, he was a paedophile. And I was like, oh my God, I've got kids. Kids. And that's why I feel like before, do you know when he's asking, has there ever been any readings that I've like emotionally attached to in a way when I was crying? Because at the time when I read for this woman, my daughter was the same age as her son when he passed. And I was like, God, imagine if I lost. You know, so it kind of hits home a bit more then. But with this one, I was like, oh. But she kind of needed answers from him, like if things was true and whatnot. And that's what came through with that. So
It's fascinating.
It's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, so it's not all like, you know, just the lovely little nans that come through. I do get like some like crazy shit.
I'll tell you what as well, because I was not a skeptic at all, but I probably weren't as into it, but just from talking to you and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe it's because I wanted it. Do you know what I mean? And but I do feel a bit.
I was
more positive towards
praying for your dad to come through.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that. Yeah.
I did feel a bit tingy today. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting that in my head now. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
In hindsight, you're like, I was feeling a bit.
But when my mum sees this, she's going to case you. She's going to be like, get me his number.
So you're booked up to next year, right? Now, he's very in demand, actually.
Sorry, Helen.
Where can people book in with you?
So they can book in, like, find me on the social media, Mike Hough Spirit Medium. The website is on most of my social media. It doesn't actually have like a www thing, so I can never give that out because it's a really complicated website. I don't actually know how I fucking made it, but it's on there. So if people that don't want to do it through social media or text, whatever, it's easier that way. That's like how you did it.
An anonymous message.
Just an initial.
So you do them over Zoom as well?
Yes, I do Zoom readings. I do events. So I'm booked up for private readings until May next year, going into like the end of May now. But I do events too. So it's like around I want to say the UK, but I've only done it really around Cheshire so far. But I do want to go to like London and Scotland. I know that's not really in the UK, is it? Or is it? I don't think it's
in the UK. It's not in England.
Ah, okay, right. So,
yeah.
Depends who you ask. If you ask a Scot, they're like, nah.
Yeah, we're in Scotland.
Scotland. Fuck off. Marty Pale, man. Marty fucking Pale.
So I do eventually want to go there and everywhere. So I'm trying to plan somewhat of a bit of a tour for next year. So.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
Sounds great.
Boss,
You got a podcast as well?
Yeah, I do have a podcast. I've not recorded out for it for a while now, but that's called Connections to Heaven. So that's kind of like my little name for things, like my events there called Connections to Heaven.
Right.
Literally Connections, then the number 2, then Heaven. But yeah, you can find me podcast on most things really. Like Apple and Podbean podcast thing on the app on your phone. Yeah,
we put all links to stuff in descriptions and stuff like that.
I can't wait to listen to your podcast when I'm hammer the shit out. It's been so.
You're gonna listen to it and go, "Why have I gone on that? Fucking hell!" I don't associate with any of them these days.
Do you know Paul Smith?
No. Go on. What is this?
He's on. I watched that one because he talks about spiritual stuff on.
Probably if I've seen someone about,
he's
I'm shit with names.
Scouse ginger comedian. He's like hot water on everything.
I might have seen him like on social media or something like on TikTok.
Too busy with the spirits, man, to be on YouTube and
more
that.
time with the other side.
That's what I mean,
Oh yeah. Take quick before we go. Any celebrities ever?
What come through or that I've read for?
Yeah, come through.
Both.
Oh yeah, both. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Can you speak to Elvis right now?
He's like, no.
Speak to Elvis.
He's left the building.
He's left the building. I should have said that inside. That was better. Like, Michael Jackson's coming through. No. No. It doesn't happen like that. But I've read 4 people that are in the public eye.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've brought through a celebrity.
I know that was a bit of a random one.
I don't think I have. I don't think I've brought
chancing
it. It's
chancing it, yeah.
I don't think but I've read for people that have been on like reality TV shows and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If it was your like mission, could you talk to Hitler? Do you know, like?
Never say never, but I don't really plan on doing it.
I know you wouldn't really, would you? It'd not be a nice time, would it? But I just wanted to know if you was, like, okay, well, what about who's someone nice who's dead?
I know, a straight to a dictator. She's like, Pol Pot, what's Pol Pot up to?
Speak to Genghis. Who's nice that died?
Nice,
Prince.
Yeah.
If I was to read for his family, then I'd imagine so. They'd probably come.
Cool,
like put me into some good people. There. Like, see Prince come through.
That'd be mad.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's give him a club card team.
Oh yeah, just under there.
Go on, in there.
This is a little club card that we give to our guests.
Oh, cool.
It entitles you to one favour, like the mafia.
anything.
Anything happens. Oh, cool. Thank you very
See
much.
you.
There you
Thank
go, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
The Mild High Club. Oh.
Is it?
So, is
love
there any
that,
more
thanks.
questions or anything? anything
No,
else?
that's it for the Patreon
No?
questions.
It's been absolutely amazing.
I've honestly, I've loved it.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thanks
much
for
for
coming.
having me on. I really
Fascinating.
appreciate it.
So nice to show people, like,
Yeah, because sometimes
Nice
people. Yeah, I'm just normal. I'm just a normal person
Yeah.
that happens to speak to people that no one else can see.
Yeah.
Is a bit weird.
Don't we all?
But, yeah, but when people have like booked in with me before, like through text or haven't seen me on social media, it's like I've had people knocking on my door. Is Mike in? I'm like, yeah, it's me. Oh. So then at the end of it, they're laughing about, I was expecting he's like really, really fat and bald with loads of cats.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
Yeah.
receding a bit, but I'm trying to hide it. Other than that, no,
Yeah.
I've not got cats.
Uh,
Kind of chubby, but not
Yeah.
really fat, but yeah.
If you talk to as many ghosts, you'd be receding as well.
Yes. Fucking hard life, I'm telling you.
Cheers for
Yeah.
coming on, man.
No, it's
thanks
been
very
amazing,
much.
man. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Really
Thanks for your
appreciate
time. Go check out Mike's podcast and
we'll put
Get-
links
get
in the
in.
description.
Yeah, that'd be
book
great,
in for
thank
a
you.
reading and that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
get over there.
we'd love to have you back sometime in
Yeah,
the future.
I'd
and,
love to, yeah. We should do like a Halloween one. Spooky one.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get all like spooky and
Oh.
Have you ever done a Ouija board? And are they as
Stupidly.
dangerous as
Oh,
people
shit.
say?
Yes and no. So when I was, it's actually quite weird. I think it was about 11, 12. We'd made our own and I was like, this isn't going to work. But I used like one of my mum's fucking like summer shot glass things.
Yeah.
And we did it on this park and it moved. But I was like, was that you? I was a shit house as a kid. I was probably mad ass. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But I read something that if you smash the glass, it stops it. I think that was a lot of bullshit. But it moved. I think it moved to like yes. I don't know what we asked it because I was only a kid. But
Yeah.
and then yeah, no,
How
I've not
good
done-
am-
I've not done
how-
one.
do you like boobs? Yes.
Show me a booby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've not done them since. I don't really get like great vibes from them, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can be used for both good and bad, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
They always
I don't
seem
really-
linked to bad, though, don't
Yeah,
they? They
so when you
never.
watch the films,
Movies,
or when you see the
yeah.
films, they are
That's
a bit
it,
extra.
yeah.
Then,
So,
like,
say, what if, are you up for a seance? Or?
I do a seance, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Lovely.
Halloween seance.
Halloween
go.
seance.
We want Jack the Ripper. We will not accept anything below
Not
Jack
fucking
the
asking for
Ripper.
Hitler to come through.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be a good clip. That for social media.
I'll tell you what, I do bits on TikTok. That podcast
Bundy's
meets
up to.
Hitler. Right,
All right.
right.
Cheers,
We'll get you
everyone.
out of here, man. Thanks very
Yeah.
much for
Very
coming
much,
on.
well, thank you for having me
Thanks.
on. Much appreciated.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thanks
Nice
for
one,
coming.
everyone. Go sign up to the Patreon. Check that out.
Bye.
See you in a bit.
Bye.